Hello, Forrester here, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll be reviewing the Star Citizen ship, the Drake Cutlass. Star Citizen has recently released Alpha 3.9 and the Cutlass is one of the popular flyable ships. It should also make for an interesting comparison with the Freelancer I also recently reviewed. So the Cutlass is one of the smaller ships that I've reviewed, with multi-crew capability but also well suited to solo operation. The reputation of the Cutlass can sometimes be described as a little sketchy, hence the title. If my Constellation review was Jack of all trades, the Cutlass review is definitely Captain Jack. Drake market the Cutlass as a medium fighter / medium freight ship, so it's a bit of a do whatever you feel like. I followed the usual format for this review, splitting into 5 sections, starting with ship tour and deck flow, assessing combat performance, reviewing handling and visibility, looking at the operating and purchasing costs, and finally summarising. I've included timestamps in the video description to help navigate to each part of the review. Part 1. Ship tour and deck layout. So the Cutlass Black is pretty clean and easy in terms of layout. It's a single deck ship flowing from the cargo ramp at the rear up to the cockpit at the front. The primary entry point is the cargo ramp, with additional entry at the 2 side doors. The large cargo bay has got room for a small vehicle if you can get it in through the ramp, as well as seating on either side for crew. The 2 doors visible at either side do open up, although there is no ramp to gain access in gravity. Internal storage in this cargo bay is 40 SCUs of cargo. Moving forward into the front compartment, there's an area for storing boxes, as well as 2 bunks for the crew and access to the turrets. At the front of the cockpit there are 2 chairs. The first is the pilot's chair and the second is the co-pilot's chair. Part 2. Combat performance. In terms of armament, the Cutlass Black is fairly well equipped. There are 4 gimbaled size 2 weapons, but these can be upgraded to fixed size 3 if you're a nose fighter like me. Additionally, there is a dual size 3 manned turret. The co-pilot seat is able to access 2 of the weapons via remote turret 2. There are 16 missiles equipped, which pack quite a punch too. So, all in all, the Cutlass handles pretty well in combat. If described as a medium fighter, it does that job to a good standard. That is to say, it'll easily deal with lighter targets, can put some good firepower downrange, but you wouldn't want to end up in a sustained fight as the size 2 shield generator can only do so much. That said, you usually have fairly good control over how much fighting you want to do in the Cutlass, and in the process of grabbing the combat footage for this video, it was able to easily escape when things got a bit hairy, only losing an engine nacelle in the process. Which, by the way, with only 1 leg, made my Cutlass look even more like a pirate. The default of 2 weapons groups is also quite neat, as it gives each firing option a different feel. To get the full fighting potential out of the Cutlass, you are going to need crewmates in order to operate the full suite of weapons to full extent, but that should be pretty fun gameplay for everybody. Finally, and perhaps this is a little gimmicky, the vocalization for defeating enemies is quite pleasing and makes you feel like you're a pretty awesome combat pilot, even if you're not.
Congratulations, target is destroyed.
Part 3. Handling and visibility. Handling wise, the Cutlass is really nice to fly. The nose quickly faces where you want to point it, both in atmosphere and space. The throttle has good movement to it, a good top speed, and accelerates and brakes responsively. The addition of rotating engine modules means that the Cutlass can blend between horizontal and vertical flight really naturally, giving the pilot more control in different situations. It also makes it very easy to quickly take off from a landed position. Not that I'd expect the Cutlass to ever need to make a quick getaway. The stock quantum drive is a little slow, but has really good range, which makes sense given the role of the Cutlass as medium freight. Visibility out of the cockpit is also fairly good. The cockpit, which has a raised chair when in operation, does favour visibility above the horizon rather than below, so sometimes I find myself switching to inverted flight for better top-down visibility. That said, it's much improved over the Freelancer, for example. All in all, I'd say the Cutlass is a nice ship for pilots, doesn't feel heavy or unwieldy, responds well to control inputs, and it's quite possible for experienced pilots to do some finessed precision flying. Part 4. Operating costs. In terms of operating costs, the Cutlass is pretty good value. Hydrogen fuel can burn when kicking hard manoeuvres a lot, but I find I rarely need to restock. Whether that's because the current iteration has a fuel scoop, I don't know, please let me know in the comments. But it's also cheap to run the stock Quantum Drive, getting considerable range from the stores. In terms of cargo, the Cutlass holds up to 40 units of storage in the main bay. That's not huge, especially in comparison to the Freelancer, which I see as the main competitor. However, it's not insignificant either. Additionally, the area between the cockpit and turret is fairly roomy, meaning it's possible to further supplement cargo income by running box delivery missions at the same time. With a cautious attitude, the Cutlass can also complete claim jumper missions, meaning it'll do pretty much whatever type of mission you're wanting to. Similarly to the Freelancer, clearly the profitability is not on the same scale as the larger cargo haulers such as the Caterpillar, but for a new player looking to build up some capital, the Cutlass is a solid option, again more than covering for the operating costs. Interestingly, on the few occasions I've been scanned by security services, it's been whilst flying the Cutlass. I have no idea whether it's actually based on the rumours that Drake ships tend to favour more legally dubious gameplay.
Okay, thanks. You're clear to proceed.
Part 5. The Verdict. Let's start by exploring cost. The Cutlass Black is available for $100 as standalone, or $115 for a game package. Alternatively, 1.4 million Alpha UEC will set the in-game purchase price. That compares favourably to the Freelancer, which is a little more expensive, although I'd still recommend the Freelancer for somebody who favours the more peaceful activities in the verse. There are lots of ships available at a similar price point to the Cutlass, so I'd say it's more tailored to generalists than specialists. What I mean by that is the Cutlass will do a reasonable job of many activities currently in Star Citizen, but will not necessarily be the best at any of them. That said, the Cutlass is still a really nice ship for a new player, particularly those with an interest in the more deviant side of things. It'll fit into a wide array of playstyles and mission types, and generally do well in any of them. It's also forgiving in terms of flight model and combat capability, which is a real help to those just starting out. Additionally, my big draw to Star Citizen is the social element, so the ability to bring friends along with you in a meaningful role is a big plus. I just wanted to say thank you again to those who watch my videos and subscribe. I started making these videos as a little project and did not expect thousands of you to be watching, so thank you. Please let me know your thoughts on the Cutlass in the comments section, and hit that like button if you enjoyed watching. For anybody looking for a group who plays the current patch of Star Citizen regularly, I've included a link to my organisation, the United Space Confederation, in the video description. And finally, thank you for watching. I hope you'll hear from me in the next video.